Good evening, everyone.
It's not working.
The streaming is not working?
Yeah, Andy was asking his fiance. It's not going.
She said it's not on Facebook.
Well, let me see.
Thank you. I know we've been having problems with it.
It seems that it is working.
Okay. Does she go congregation?
I don't know, don't worry about it.
Okay, sorry to ruin
Anyway, this will be recorded, so it will record it on Facebook and YouTube. Yes. So I was saying Erev Tov, good evening everyone, and thank you for coming and joining us in this memorial service. It's for us, for the Jewish people, when we lose, of course we mourn, but we celebrate life. We are thankful for having the possibility of live with our beloved ones, and in this special case, it's a privilege. It's an honor. It's an honor for you, for your sister, for you, Ted, for you, Adam, Ben, Andy, and Ben. It's like, you know, of course there's something that remains empty inside ourselves, but we carry, and I hope you will understand that, we carry these sacred memories of our beloved ones, and I have the smile of your dad in my memory, and this will remain there, and this is something that we need to be aware of, and we need to. So today, it's like it's also a process that we came to this moment to remember, to cry, but not only because of what we lose, but to be thankful because of all we received, and this is the blessing. So I invite you to open your prayer books So we will start with the evening service. It's on page 4, and if you can, please stand up. We will face to the east, page 4. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד. You may sit down, page 6. We continue silently. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. page 8. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. page 12. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. page 14. אמת ואמונה כל זאת וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. page 16. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף מלכותך ראו בניך, בו קיים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. page 18. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו בואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני שומר עמו ישראל לעד. Please stand up if you can. We are on page 20. יתגדל ויתקדש שמר רבה, ואלמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי קודשה, בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, ואמרו Amen. We keep standing for the Amidah on page 74. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. We continue silently from page 76 till page 100. We read only the even pages. עושה שלום, שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ויאמרו אמן. You may be seated. We'd like to invite you, Wendy, to continue with this part.
Oh, no, that's Ted.
Okay,
He's
so
sorry. Yeah.
Ed, please.
Keep this on. Ceremonial needs there.
You may use this one if you want.
You can hear me fine without this, can't you? I'll put this here in case it helps the streaming, I guess.
No, this is for the stream.
Oh, great, okay.
Yeah, so don't need this.
Well, first, I want to thank all of you for coming out. It's been a whirlwind of the last 2 months. It was the 25th of August that he passed away, and we hurried off to Virginia, and there was a graveside ceremony there with the Virginia side of the family, and I think I was the only one who didn't speak at that, and I'll get my turn now. And it's so great to see all of you here, and really thanks for coming out. And many of you, I think all of you, know Art, have experienced the wonder that he was. So I've got a slideshow for later, but we're not going to go through that right away. Remembering Coach Art Levin by me. Art and I shared many good times over more than 50 years. He was a big presence in the life of all who knew him. As a high school teacher, a coach of softball, wrestling, and cross country, he was immensely popular. Students still say he changed their lives. He could educate, encourage, entertain, and charm. Wendy's compiled a small sampling of the praise he's received from former students over the years. More on that later. There are no good losers, he'd say. He thrived on confrontation. He liked to stir things up by saying outrageously offensive things, just to get a reaction. He also told increasingly fabulous stories about his life. We marveled as they morphed so far from any real or actual events. But those stories are for another time. Here are some of the milestones in Art's life. He was born on 4 September in 1931 in New Haven, Connecticut, to Ben and Celia Levin. His father, Ben, was a 25-year-old second-generation American. Art's grandfather, Max, came from New York from Lithuania in 1888, the year of the blizzard. For some reason, he always added that. Art's mother, Celia, was also a second-generation American. Her people, named Wiener, came from Vysoko-Litovsk, a Jewish shtetl that has been in Poland, Germany, Russia, and Belarus in the past century. Neither of her parents, Isaac Wiener or Lena Lynn, could read or write English. But Lena learned how to write in Yiddish to write to her son Henry in World War II. Art's mother, Celia, I read that. I never met Ben or Celia, but I feel I know them from listening to Art. Ben was gregarious, hardworking, entrepreneurial, handsome, and smart, qualities Art admired. Celia was warm and loving and talented. She was a feeder. She stayed home. Art valued that too. While he understood that women wanted to be educated and have careers, he saw homemakers as the most important role. In 1939, his little sister, Elaine, was born. She always looked up to him and loved him. In 1953, he graduated from the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina. This was a time of magic and a huge source of pride for him his entire life. In 1954, he married the beautiful 19-year-old Lois Postal at the Jewish Community Center in New Haven. Lois's mom, Sherry Alterwitz, was a successful buyer of children's clothing in New Haven. Lois's dad, John Postal, was born in Odessa, Russia. Art had little respect for him, since Wendy's grandmother bossed him around so. Art used to delight at being an absolutely terrible host to both Sherry and John when they would come visit McLean each year. I mean, this went so far as serving food that they hated last year. And probably the same wine. 1953 to 1955 was Art's short career in the Army. He was in tanks in Fort Knox. 1956 to 58, big years, births of daughter Shelley and Wendy in New Haven. 1961, he got his Master of Science in Education at Southern Connecticut State. He taught school until 1998. His teaching arc would include special ed, including summer camps, and English and social studies. He also loved coaching track and wrestling. He was a regular in the weight room. In 1973, I first met Shelley, Wendy's sister, and then I met Wendy and we dated for a school year. This is where my whirlwind of memories begins. He called Shelley's boyfriend shithead. He called me fleabag, clearly disparaging my long hair, I'm not making that up, and my hippie attire. Fittingly, I called him lardass. He took that surprisingly well. Did I mention he thrives on conflict? Art and Lois participated in everything that the girls did: softball, field hockey, drill team, etc. He loved arguing loudly with umpires. He delighted in educating me in Jewish things. At that first Passover I attended at their home, Art played the Jewish patriarch role, apparently like never before. I swear he talked about the meaning of God's outstretched arm for over an hour. And is that between the first or the second glass of wine? I'm not sure. But it was a long time. February 1982, Shelley and Dave were married in New Haven. In May of 82, Shelley and I were married. Wendy and I. I never told you about that part. Wendy and I were married at Temple Road F. Shalom, which Art and Lois helped found. He gains a son-in-law, another son-in-law. 1987 to 1990, Andy and Ben were born. Art and Lois were ecstatic. Sure, Shelley had Amber and Aaron, but this is my story. 1992, the Jones clan moves 3 time zones west. This was hard on them, since they used to show up every weekend at our house. Most of you met Art and Lois on their annual summer trips to the Northwest in those years. They came to both bar mitzvahs. To get here, Art and I drove across the country together. Visualized Laurel and Hardy in a car. I saw firsthand his love for military history when we stopped at the General Custer Monument. While I focused on the fact that they were breeding buffaloes to reintroduce to the wilderness, he walked those ridges visualizing Custer's last stand for an hour. 1998, Art reluctantly retires from McLean High. He later explained that he refocused on his military past because it was just too painful to think about no longer being a teacher. 1999 to 2006, they lived in Delray Beach, Florida. God's waiting room, he called it. Art was somehow surprised that, quote, "It's really hot, everybody is really old, and they're all Jewish." We just never understood. Did he think he was going to an episode of Miami Vice? Yeah. 2010, Lois passed away. He stayed on in the same McLean condo and held court at the McLean family restaurant across the street many days of the week. Of course, he was a favorite of the waitresses, even though he would loudly argue with his old friend, Rabbi Laszlo Berkowitz, who married Wendy and me, across the room. Fast forward to 2016. To our great surprise, Art accepted our invitation to move to Bainbridge Island. Sadly, he got sick before he got here and he lost all his mobility. Instead of going into independent living, he went straight into a rehab facility. At each new residence, he engaged the caregivers and the therapists, but never the other inmates, or residents or inmates as he called them. He had 2 rules for people who wanted to share his dining table: no reading and no talking.
You guys, I just have to break in. I have to tell you, I keep looking at them because these 2 beautiful women were his last caregivers. From Bainbridge. So that's why they're just giggling right and left. Because I think they know better than probably anybody in the place.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt.
Sure, but the staff at Madison Avenue Retirement Center, they loved him, and they saw far more of him than we did during the height of the COVID lockdown. We would go and talk through shower curtains and windows that opened kind of like this, and sitting out in the cold. It wasn't a warm experience that way. 2022, we finally got him into Bailey Manor adult family home on Bainbridge. He liked the house and the staff so much. They made him laugh, and vice versa. We wish we could have gotten him there years earlier. In his final weeks, his accumulated frailties caught up with him. At 91, he was alert, right up to his death at St. Michael's. Wendy tended to all his logistical needs. She managed continuous housing, insurance, pharmacy, transportation, caregiver, nurse, therapist, and doctor issues. Fortunately, Art respected Wendy's training and skill as an RN and would comply, usually. Certainly, her loving care extended his life and increased his comfort. Despite everyone's efforts, he let his world get steadily smaller. He would not let volunteers take him to the senior center, library, or shopping after his first year in Winslow. He stopped listening to opera, stopped reading books, and wouldn't venture to stores or parks by power chair or access bus. Just a whole lot of TV, which we tried to break up with Chinese food, cookies, and ask him to tell us stories. So how will I remember Art in years to come? First, as a devoted dad. Until they grew up, there was nothing he would not do with Shelley and Wendy. Art and Lois always put the needs of the kids first. Second, as a loving grandparent. He wept with joy when each of our boys was born, and he devotedly followed their developments. He was confident they'd overcome all challenges and was always proud of them. Third, as an English teacher and a lover of language and history, I was constantly amazed at his depth of understanding of literature and world history. Fourth, as a proud Jew, I married into his culture with very little frame of reference. His experiences and stories helped me greatly to find my place. And lastly, as a companion and friend, he treated me as a son. Over the past 7 years, we made hundreds of visits, some short and some long. He made me feel welcome and was generally glad to see me. I was happy to visit him too. Sometimes I still get an extra cake pop at Starbucks in his honor.
So does anybody want to say anything? No pressure. It's all cool. You know.
I'll say something.
You want to? Okay.
Yeah, so it's in some ways it's been a hard couple, week or month because I knew I was going to be back here a few weeks later, and I was really looking forward to getting to spend more time with Coach. But at the same time, I can't say that guy didn't leave a presence on my life at literally every stage. So when I was around 2, there's a series of videos where I'm playing with toys, and Coach just grabs the toys out of my hand and puts them in other people's hands just to see if I'll fight back. I think this was the start of me, forever disappointing him. At my bar mitzvah, which I guess actually a good half of you at least were there, the video, the most memorable thing, besides probably my voice cracking all over the place, through my Haftorah, is, every time, at the back of Beth Tikva, there was the video there. Anytime anybody stood up to go to the bathroom or even move, Coach would just turn around, stomp his cane, and just glare at the person. And, and honestly, it was intimidating, because even at that point, he was already, was starting to develop his, Danny DeVito as the Penguin resemblance. So it's pretty terrifying if you ever just, want to watch something and be haunted for the rest of your life. As he, got older, as Dad said, his stories, sometimes got more and more ridiculous, and it was always kind of a fun adventure to realize which ones are real, which ones are exaggerated, but the truth, regardless of where we are on the spectrum there, he had a lot of pretty amazing stories, and he was just an incredible, memorable storyteller. Right around the time I officially became a lawyer, came the story that he'd kicked Justice Scalia out of a track meet. This came really out of the blue. How have I not heard this in my, entire point? But, as he says it, he was a track coach, true, in Virginia. This is Northern Virginia. Justice Scalia did have, a son who was, throwing discus, at his school. And just as he says, Justice Scalia, was always yelling when everyone else was throwing the discus, so he had to throw him out. I'm just going to choose to believe this is true, because it's such an awesome story, On the third degree of it, when security had to come to kick Justice Scalia out, that made me start to doubt a little, but I'm just going to continue to believe that it's true. Yeah, Coach was just a really memorable, person in everyone's life who met him. It was sometimes, just really special over the year to see, whenever, we had a birthday, Mom would post something on Facebook and just the hundreds of comments that would come in, and you really got a sense of, the impact he had on people's life. And as you guys have told me, he was a teacher of the year. I believe he founded the first world religions program in the state of Virginia. Wish he'd taught a little longer, if anything, so we could stop hearing about the Citadel. It was like a couple of years of your life, too. But, he was a special person. He was always present in Ben and I's life. And, did an amazing job with Mom, just as Mom actually did an amazing job keeping him alive the last few years. So, I'm going to really miss him, and I love him, and I really appreciate that all of you are here, to remember him with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Does anyone else want to say anything? What everybody has in their hands are notes that I want everyone to read out loud. We'll just go around. Ted alluded to the idea that we really were upset because he focused so much on this short military and, this macho period in his life, and that he was such a beloved teacher. And Andy and Ben can't say enough about how important reading was to him and how much literacy was important to him as an English teacher, and he was a very beloved English teacher. So I thought it seemed really appropriate. We're here, we're here. All his students are in Virginia. So each of you have a quote. And when we talked about it, Ted alluded to that for the last 3 or 4 years of his life, every birthday, I would say on Facebook, I'd say, anybody want to wish Dad happy birthday? And so I'd cut them out and I'd make books for him. So I just picked a bunch of those, and we'll just buzz through them quick. You don't read the person's name. I had a hard time cutting those. But if we can just go ahead and read them out loud, and let's just start in the first row, and then we'll just go around.
Happy birthday, Mr. Levin. Hope you have a wonderful day. You deserve it. Thank you for your dedication to teaching and coaching at McLean High. Happy birthday.
We'll have to be loud here so that streaming can hear too.
Happy birthday, Mr. Levin. Levin is spelled. Well done, English teacher. You were the first teacher who thought I had a brain. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. I hope you enjoy your day.
A very happy birthday to my favorite teacher ever, 4 exclamation points.
To this very day, I am grateful for your solemn warning not to coast through life. Thank you for your concern. It has blessed me throughout my life.
Happy birthday, Mr. Levin. Thank you for being a wonderful teacher. In your class, I remember writing an essay describing a pencil, and it challenged me. The sincerity and care that you showed me inspired me to go into teaching. I can honestly relate to your dislike of COVID. I'm about to begin this year teaching virtually. Hopefully I can bring your wonderful sense of humor, wit, and intellect to this new platform. Finally, hello Wendy. Hugs to you both.
A big 90th happy birthday to my best English teacher and a great cross-country coach.
Art, happy birthday and blessings, my friend. Thank you for being a wonderful mentor to McLean High School youth.
Wishing my favorite teacher and coach ever a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you for inspiring me to become a teacher. Did you know that my first year teaching at McLean High School, I taught in your old classroom? I thought of you all the time and tried to be like you.
Hello, Art. I remember you as a fellow educator, your gift of connecting with students. Happy birthday and blessings, my friend.
Hello and happy birthday, Art. You are still remembered fondly in McLean, Virginia.
Happy birthday, Mr. Levin, or can I call you Art, since I had a lengthy 3-year stint of teaching at McLean High. You had a way with students, such good rapport, everyone loved you. God's blessings to you and your loved ones. Celebrate.
Wishing you joy and happiness, Mr. Levin. You are always an amazing teacher and friend, and you only deserve the best. You are the spark, the inspiration, the guide, the candle to so many lives. Double exclamation. I am deeply thankful that you are my teacher and friend. Book, sports, homework, and knowledge, you are the pillar of our success, and in the classroom, you were the best.
Happy birthday, Mr. Levin. I hope you have an amazing day celebrating with your friends and family. If it wasn't for you being my homeroom teacher, I probably would have never gotten up in time to go to school. Love and miss ya.
Sounds like a 5th grader.
Happy birthday, Mr. Levin. Always remember you bringing Death of a Salesman to life, a memory from 44 years ago. All the best.
Best teacher I ever had in high school or university. Truly a great teacher, man, and friend.
Happy birthday, Mr. Levin. You are so wonderfully dedicated to MHS, a great teacher and coach, and a key part of making it an inclusive, happy place for so many of us. Thank you and wishing you many good years ahead.
Happy birthday, Mr. Levin. You were by far my favorite teacher with a great impact on my life. You encouraged me to write and as track coach to run. Both served me well. We joked well with each other and your praise encouraged me to work harder. Thank you.
Oh, no, microphone.
No microphone. Happy birthday, Mr. Levin. 5 emojis. Music, a birthday cake, party favors, a coach, and a heart. I love being in your English class, and you flame my love for English, reading, and writing. Thanks for being such a great teacher. Hope your day is awesome celebrating you. Sending love and hugs your way. All my love.
Happy birthday to you, Mr. Levin. I did not have you, but I remember the combined class lecture you gave on the Six-Day War of 1967. It was fascinating, and you really lit me on fire to learn more about the Middle East situation. Thank you for that inspiration.
Wow, that was totally coincidental, you guys, that was the last one. Totally coincidental, but somehow that was meant to be, wasn't it? So I'm not going to say anything. I feel like I've talked a lot. I think I've talked to every person in this room about Dad and how important he was. But just keep this in mind. All my life, when I was a kid in that school, and we'd be having the normal teen thing going on, and I'd have to go to school, and everyone would say, "You have the coolest dad ever." And that was really hard. It was really hard when you were pissed off at him. But I have amazing, and I think you too, and and Andy and Ben and Ted know, never quite knew in the last 7 years who we were going to get. We're going to get the great dad, who was a great storyteller, and who we're going to see. Or somebody that was angry and mad at the world. And so we just took the good with the bad, and I just want everyone to know, 15 minutes before he died, he was still talking away. Rabbi was there, Ben was there, Andy would have been there, but he was there in heart, and Ted and I, and he, one of his last things he did was he looked straight up and really, looked up ahead, almost like a seizure activity, and it kind of freaked us all out, and I looked at Ben and looked at Ted, and we said, and Ben goes, I think he's been visited. So we're not sure what that was, but and then he just came back and started chitting. I go, Dad, do you know what just happened? He goes, nah. He just blew it off and just kept talking. So we don't know what it was, but I just think that was one of really beautiful memory at the very end. So we have a short video of, because we keep talking about what a storyteller is, a short video that'll hopefully work. Yeah, the story. Oh, we're gonna do the story now, and then we're just gonna run some pictures later. Unless you want to do the pictures. Do you want to do those faster?
I can do this.
So we used to try to record him when we thought about it.
And he was sitting there with the police chief, and his feet up on the desk. So here he is in the morning, and New Haven is big in the city, and everywhere. He's sitting there with a black trash man, and at night he's sitting there with a white Italian sheriff, assistant sheriff, or the sheriff himself was Sarah's best friend.
Oh, and Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah Bell.
Yeah.
One of my favorite aunts. She's a badass.
Oh, everybody.
She was a badass. Scared the crap out of everyone.
That one should, oh, hang on.
You didn't time that one out?
I didn't know that one's gonna be on the timer. Let's see if I can make the timer go away on that one. End show, 1 second. If I
You know
take,
what that is, you guys. That's nice. On the boat, yeah.
okay, let me try it again.
And he was sitting there with the police chief, and his feet up on, came home.
It's talking from him.
My dad said, "Do you want to visit?"
Did I miss some? Yeah, I did.
It's not on the screen.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Oh, and Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah Bell.
Hopefully it's not gonna be timed.
Sitting there with the police chief, and his feet up on the desk. So here he is in the morning, and New Haven is big in the city, and everywhere. He's sitting there with a black trash man, and at night he's sitting there with a white Italian sheriff, assistant sheriff, or the sheriff himself was Sarah's best friend.
Oh, and Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah Bell.
Yeah.
One of my favorite aunts. She's a badass.
Oh, everybody.
She was a badass. Scared the crap out of everyone.
I was out of town for about 3 years at one time. They've heard this a million times. And when I came home, my dad said, "Who do you want to visit?" And I said, "Let's go see Sarah." Jump in the car, get over, park in front of Sarah's house. That was the old gray house. I stepped out of the car, my foot hit the grass. And I looked up, and there's a woman sitting in a window with her arms crossed, saying, "Get out the grass, you little son of a bitch." That's Sarah. I said, "I'm home." The story is that my grandfather was a reeve.
What's that?
He managed a farm for a baron.
I never heard the term reeve.
Really, that was his
That was his occupation.
R-E-E-V-E.
The farm manager. R-E-E-E.
Oh, okay, go ahead. We believe you.
Very friendly lady. Very friendly.
Oh, look at that smile. You know what that means.
Very, very.
Janet's here also, you guys.
In any case, the baron had me go into town. And he went to town. And she went to town to my kid. She went to town with my grandfather. And they had quite a party. When the old man came back, he didn't like that. So they hung my grandfather by his beard in the barn. He had a full-length beard.
What a vision.
Jesus. No?
He was given an option. Either get out of town and stay out, or get out of town and stay out.
No.
So he got out of town and stayed out.
Wow.
They went to, and my father's family went to where they were from, the state of Zona, Zona Gedona.
Uh-huh.
Mother's family ended up, and I can't think of the name of it now.
What, was it in Lithuania? Where was it?
No, it was on the Russian border.
Oh, on the border, okay. Ted probably has it written down in genealogy.
Huh?
Ted probably has it written down in genealogy
sure, yeah.
somewhere, yeah.
And I have it written down up here somewhere.
So your father grew up in Lithuania?
Grandfather.
Near Goma.
Mhm.
Your grandfather?
Grandfather.
Grandfather.
And Uncle Ben was born here, though.
Yeah.
Grandpa Ben, his dad. Yeah, he was born here.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah, he was born here. Mhm.
I think that's about it. Yep. All right. So now that's just the slideshow. We'll probably just continue on through and we don't have to focus on it.
Oh, but we were gonna wait till after
Oh, okay.
we do, Deja.
I will hit pause.
Thank you for reading those, you guys. With enthusiasm, that was a great idea.
We will continue with the traditional prayer on page 582. El Maleh Rachamim. If you can, please stand up. El Maleh Rachamim שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, לנשמת אברום ולבל בן בנימין הלוי שהלך לעולמו. בעל הרחמים יסתירהו בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר Amen. Keep standing, page 586. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars of light up the darkest night. These are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We will end this memorial service with the traditional prayer Kaddish on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשא בריחו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. תהי נשמתו של ארט צורה בצרור החיים. May Art's memory be for a blessing for all of us. Amen.
So hopefully everyone will stick around a little while. Our friends brought some wonderful little noshes and have some drinks and talk a little bit more about that. Ted made this fabulous slideshow, so he's just going to run it and anybody ask questions, and there's just lots of cute pictures on there. Thank you everybody for coming so much.
Cruising to the Hebrew.
So I just like, maybe I know some of this house. Hey, I'm Mary.
You paused. You caught it. Yeah. Oh. You caught it to your credit.
I gotta stand here a second, see if it actually moves on, because I gave it like 20 seconds. It did, good, okay. So I can come around now.
What a great...
Look at that rosy-cheeked boy. He's there with a donkey on the left.
Hey, Will.
Bottom right, that's his bar mitzvah picture. There he's at Fort Knox, looking like he's doing something useful.
County gold. Protecting
Yeah, exactly.
I can really see how he looks like Wendy.
It's cute. That's the one I remember most. That's how you'd see him in class. Yeah, that's how I met him, looking like that. No, I literally didn't take his class.
I mean, like the final one, or
Yeah.
all of them? Yeah.
I see you. You've been out in the dugouts with the flea bags, haven't you?
Baby Andy.
Oh.
Oh my God. Very fun. Look at you.
You can tell that was Andy anywhere.
couldn't you?
Yeah, it's frustrating when you jealous.
All that hair.
My deck was so new that I hadn't even painted any of it yet. It still stayed.
Yeah, they live like an hour and a half from there.
Oh, you totally get it, yeah.
Yeah, that's our side yard. This is, I think this is where he went to his sister Elaine's renewal of vows. He's so misbehaved.
My sister and then my
She's up there getting remarried for eternity, basically. And he says there's a penalty for double jeopardy. That's the funny thing in the world. This is Amber's wedding. Shelley's daughter. And that's Shelley's son behind it.
Was that Shelley? Yeah, Shelley's on the bottom.
I love that belt buckle. Virginia.
But Shelley, that's the Citadel tie I'm wearing. I guess I wore that to This is his first great-grandson, Christopher. Oh my God. It's a great-grandson.
You can tell he's talking.
That's Got some Levi time in there, yeah. And Rabbi Paul.
Oh, okay.
Next picture is my favorite. Yeah, that's the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's
the parade of the 4th of July. What I should have put was the arrows that says hot dog stand right next to it. This is at the Madison Mark. Those are the little windows we later be trying to talk through. The bottoms opened up this far and we'd sit on the concrete and try to talk through that door, that window. Rachel's is Wendy's cousin. So it's his sister's daughter.
He was pissed.
There's a happy face.
Oh, that's a big cardboard cutout. It was actually on his wall. Sitting in his lap.
Oh, was it?
Yep. No, that's not Photoshop. That's a piece of cardboard. That's a piece of cardboard. And this was at our house. Correcting the text. That's Passover. It's the story of Exodus. No, it's
Revising the holy book.
That's right. And this is at the place in Tacoma. Karen's an old classmate of Wendy.
I bet you do.
Look at that feast we made. Royal. An hour and a half each way. It's like 3 miles to school.
Does it run continuously?
Yeah.
Okay, because I missed them.
It may get stuck when we get to the video. I can always bump it up.
He's so good. We just saw Josh this past weekend. He met us down in South Florida. My brother-in-law's 60th birthday, so Josh flew down from Norfolk. Ben's going to be in December. He's going to
Click something for that.
But you know, because when
There's no program. This one took me hours because it was 2 separate photos. I couldn't get the tones of the shirt to match forever. But I got them.
you can take that. That's you, man.
That's you in the back cooking there, Kim.
That was the fake Hanukkah.
Yes, it is the good thing.
That's his room at our house. How did it get so big?
And it should start again. Let me see if I can make sure it starts again.